I really thought we were gonna have to cancel.
Yeah, I did.
It was
too.
getting so bad.
It was. Yeah, we were even in my recordings when I didn't have the stream running. It was being like. It was getting worse. Sometimes in the better, it would be like, and then and I hated it. It made me so mad. But you know what didn't make me mad? Episode 2 of Loki.
Okay, let's talk about episode 2 of Loki.
You know what? I think Loki doesn't want us to talk about it.
I think Loki was fucking with our equipment.
Yeah, Loki, you bastard. It's after all the jokes you've made about him.
Yeah, honestly. He's just pissed because I make videos joking about his sex life.
Which we all know is the best.
And you remember that commenter who got really mad about me making jokes about Loki? That was insane.
Yeah.
Oh, Yuki's still here.
Yuki is also here.
Thank you, Yuki, for sticking around. All right, so this episode of Loki starts off at a Renaissance fair, and in the 80s.
Yeah, that was weird.
It started with a scene that I thought was kind of funny, like the time travelers show up and like this woman is like, "Hey, you're not dressed properly," and then they just walk away from her. Some of us need this.
That was pretty. I can believe someone saying that, not just in the 80s, but today. You've said that.
Yeah,
you've met people who.
I have met people like that. Yeah, like so, So
that was a good, fun way to start the episode.
Also pretty relatable, pretty true. Yeah.
At the beginning, I was kind of making myself lunch, and we couldn't stop because Claire had a meeting exactly at 3:30.
Yeah.
And so I missed a little bit of the beginning, but most of it was just talking.
All you really missed was when they were in like them investigating like what the Loki had done and what the Loki did, the other Loki, the villain Loki, which for those of you who didn't see episode 1, the villain is another Loki from another timeline. So like these time cops were tracking this Loki to a Renaissance fair, and they go into a tent, and the tent starts playing "Holding Out for a Hero."
Yeah, I saw that part, and that's
which I think we all love that song. And if you don't love that song, you have bad taste in music.
Yeah. They said they ripped off from Shrek.
I said that same thing. I was like, why isn't this the Shrek version? That's the better version.
It is. I do like it a lot.
That song seems to be pretty popular lately, especially because in the trailer for the Guardians of the Galaxy video game, they were playing that song.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm pretty sure it was played in another trailer for something else too. I just can't remember.
It was a movie, right, that you're thinking about?
It might have been, yeah.
Because I have vague memories of that too.
Yeah.
And I mean, the 80s are popular again for some reason.
We're living in the 90s love era. That makes sense. I think back in the 80s there was like a 50s love also.
Yeah,
just
that makes
like
sense.
30 years ago. That's what we like. 10 years from now there's going to be 90s love.
And then 10 years from that there's going to be early 2000s love. So everybody's going to have crappy iPods
and
the
that
first
90s
iPhone.
love is already kind of starting, like the Captain Marvel movie. And in this show, Owen Wilson talks about, in the 90s they made the jet ski.
The one perfect thing.
But yeah, while the music's playing and the time cops are investigating, our evil Loki, the other one,
comes in, Captain Hook.
Yeah, comes in and pulls a Scarlet Witch on everybody.
Puts the finger on, you see magic flow through their brain, now they're controlled.
But it's not red magic, this time it's green magic.
Which is true evil in Disney.
They've gone full Disney villain.
Yeah, that's how you know she's the true Disney villain. How much green is she using?
How green is your magic? But yeah, so apparently that seems to be this Loki's big thing is possession. Hiddleston Loki doesn't really do that. He's more of an illusion
He even says he doesn't like possession. Yeah,
he considers it cowardly.
He's like, it's cowardly, it's cheap, it's unauthentic, but clever.
Yeah, clever. Cowardly, but clever.
Which is a good way of putting it, sure.
Yeah. I mean, it is a little douchey to make other people fight for you.
But it could be worse.
Though, Loki kind of did the same thing in Avengers, and he's kind of fresh off that, isn't he, in this show? So, Loki, you're kind of full of it.
Then again, ever since the first episode, they have said everything he says is just him talking about himself. Like, remember? He's like, it's the weak trying to convince the strong that they should listen to the weak, and then later he's admitting that is just what he believes about himself.
Yeah.
And that's why he does what he does. So maybe this is just more of that turnaround.
Could be, yeah.
I do like that part when she's controlling the big guy, And he's beating him up, and he's like, I would never treat me like this.
Yeah.
He's like, so, and you know, when they showed all the variant Lokis, by the way, it was just Loki at different outfits.
Yeah, I think the last one was a nod to the comics. I think it was his comic mythological outfit.
But it was still Tom Hiddleston, and then the other Loki is girl Loki, which is, okay, cool, but why is this the only variant that is a completely different person?
Yeah, it's, yeah. I've heard that's a thing in the comics.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm not against
I personally was never a huge fan of like just gender swapping Thor and Loki in the comics, and let me tell you why. Because there are plenty of female Norse gods and female Norse mythical characters who I think it would be way cooler to give a spotlight to.
Like Lady Sif or Freya.
Like, Sif's not really a warrior in mythology, but she is in Marvel Comics, so sure.
Yeah.
But I think instead of introducing a female Thor in the comics, why don't you introduce Freya as like a main hero? That would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be great.
You know, instead of having, you know, female Loki as a villain, maybe you can have Scotty, like, before she joined the gods. Like, you know, Scotty has ice powers. That's a cool, like, possibility for a villain.
And is Scotty a giant?
Scotty is a Jotun deity.
Yeah, and then it's kind of like a...
Just like Loki, that's a connection to frost giants.
Yeah, exactly.
And everything. So if people would just do a little research instead of like going, hey, take that but turn its, you know, gender around, you could make more interesting stories, in my opinion.
But, you know, maybe this will be interesting. Maybe this one might change our mind.
I mean, I'm not trying to like shit on this show in particular. I'm just saying, like, I know they got that from the comics, and I always thought that was kind of a lazy tactic in comics. But but that doesn't mean this actress won't do a great job. For anyone who didn't fully catch what we're saying, yes, the other Loki is a female Loki. They reveal that, and
And again, we're not against them doing that in this show.
Yeah.
So far the actress has played her well in the 5 lines she's had.
I think the idea of Loki going up against another Loki can be kind of interesting. It is a huge Marvel cliche. The whole like going up against evil you, and now it's like we literally have an evil guy as the villain. Who's going to be the villain? Evil guy.
Evil.
No, not evil guy. Evil gal. That's how we mix it up. I actually thought it was going to be Enchantress. Oh,
you mean from the DC comic?
No. There's an Enchantress in both. Both comics have an Enchantress.
That's not confusing at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see Enchantress versus Enchantress.
I mean, they probably did that in the Amalgam comics or something. I don't know.
You know, it might turn out she's the Enchantress, but I doubt it because she's got the Loki horns.
It could just be someone pretending to be.
It could be, yeah.
She does say... It was kind of annoying because she did also say, like, when he says, come on, Loki, and he goes, don't use that name.
You know, good point. You might be right. It might be Enchantress.
Yeah, it might just be someone faking being Loki.
Which could be interesting. Yeah, maybe that's why she was always wearing the hood.
Yeah.
Like, because I was saying earlier, like, the only reason for this Loki to wear that hood is so we, the audience, don't see who it is. Because the time cops are clearly going after them, so they probably already know what they look like. But then they kind of show that they don't know what it looks like. But they have a way to track variants anyway, so the hood doesn't fully matter. But... yeah, now that you bring it up, it's possible that the reason she was wearing that hood was to pose as Loki?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not
Or just so they wouldn't know her exact identity. It might be Enchantress. That would be an interesting twist.
Yeah, it would be. She was that was a...
yeah, we did not get what I wanted, which was I wanted the villain to be Loki straight out of Mythology, which, granted, I was never really thinking we would get that, but that's still what I wanted. We're not getting it.
I think this basically hard confirms because it's not going to be Mythology.
How cool would it have been to see, like, Marvel Loki go up against Myth Loki?
That would be really interesting.
I think that would have been an amazing way to handle it.
But I think they just want to go with comic book stuff, and they want to focus more on the time.
And I can't blame them. It's an adaptation of the comics, so sure.
Yeah, and again, we don't hate it. We still want to see the next episode with that ending.
Like, we weren't like screaming in anger or anything when we saw that. We were like, yeah, we thought so. That was kind of our reaction. We were just like, yeah, that's kind of what we thought would happen because we know about female Loki. So
it's like walking into a restaurant and you're not sure what they serve you, and then they say we're making sushi. It's like
you're sitting there like, ooh, is it pizza night? I mean, it probably isn't. And they bring out the chicken nuggets, and you're like, yeah, okay.
I'm just here ignoring the review because I haven't seen it yet. That's totally fine.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. Ignore the review.
I mean, there isn't too much to spoil. Like, they have a really
just what we just said is the main spoiler.
That and the very ending with all of a sudden a bunch of
right.
With all those bombs that she's been taking, the ones that usually reset time.
I thought what she was gonna do is she was gonna lay traps for the time cops and disintegrate them, but apparently it looked like she reversed them.
Yeah.
Since they are meant to correct time, I think what she did was she's reversed them and sent them all throughout the timeline to disrupt time
to make it. Yeah, because as soon you see back at the TVA, they're looking at a screen that shows the correct timeline, and anytime there's a variant, you see like a line go out.
Yeah, and then suddenly you get like 20 at once.
Yeah, and they're all freaking out. They're like,
it's
code triple zero.
It looked like a blood vein.
Yeah,
to me, like veining out.
And it was that did not look good, and I mean it's only episode 2, so this can't be the season finale.
It makes me wonder if one of the main things that's going to happen on this show is like Loki's going to be going throughout time and having to correct what's wrong in the timeline now, or maybe since we saw in the trailer it looked like he was with a group at one point, maybe he'll grab the people who are variants and like assemble a team of variants.
That would make sense. Maybe it's just a bunch of Lokis.
Actually, that would be pretty cool. Team Lokis. I want all those Lokis. We saw projections of like what was there, like a sports Loki,
sporty Loki, piratey Loki,
comic book Loki,
ninja Loki,
Grabble, Team Loki. This reminds me of that Fairly Odd Parents. Summon all the Crimson Shins.
All the Crimson Shins. There's like 50 Crimson Shins. That's a really good one.
One thing I did like is Tara Strong is still
she's
in
still
the
in
show.
it.
Like because I love Tara Strong. I thought that was just a one-off with her playing the
but
instruction.
Then she's there right in the beginning.
But then she's there in this as like a hollow projection. I'm like, yay, more Tara Strong. I love Tara Strong. Apparently Loki had to go through like training.
And then he's like, I don't care about this because he's Loki.
Yeah, like he's very pick and choosy about what he's absorbing, because one minute he's saying, oh, I didn't pay attention to that, and then the next minute he's saying, oh, of course I paid attention to that, and he lists what it is, and it's like, you're all over the place, but you're the god of mischief, so sure.
That's kind of his whole thing. Welcome to Team Loki, featuring Loki alongside Loki. Introducing Loki, written by Loki.
This is starting to sound like a Deadpool plot. A little bit.
But, it fits. They're kind of similar, only one's more psychotic.
Yeah, me, myself, and I.
Pretty much. And so the other thing we did get was we got to see actually Loki. Well, we saw what's his name, Owen Wilson's boss, who is the person who speaks to the timekeepers.
She was like the prosecutor in episode 1. Her name is Ravonna, so Kang the Conqueror is probably going to play in here. I personally have a suspicion, since we don't see the timekeepers, but they keep focusing on their statues around the place, and even Owen Wilson says he never gets to talk to the timekeepers.
He's never met them.
Yeah, he's never met them. The only one who seems to have a line to them is Ravonna, and since Ravonna is Kang the Conqueror's wife in the comics, I'm thinking there's something fishy going on. I personally think that either the timekeepers are like gone or dead, or like something has happened to them, and like Kang might be trying to make a power move or something. That would be a huge thing to introduce in this, though, so it's hard to say for sure.
You know, it's something I just realized.
What?
So, who's the main villain in this so far?
All we've got is female Loki as the main villain.
Who is the main villain in Falcon the Winter Soldier?
That girl leader of the Flag
the female girl, the Resistance.
Oh, yeah, and Agatha Harkness. Well, we're getting female villains coming out.
All the villains so far have been female. Now, they could swap it and make it Kang. And
all the villains so far have been, like, females with the same powers as the hero. Yeah. Also, female witch, female super soldier, and female Loki.
Except for the only way... Oh, I have to yawn. The only way they could flip it on our head is if it turns out Ravonna's the real villain, but then we still have 3 villain females, which is
there's nothing wrong with that. It's an interesting coincidence.
Interesting
like
pattern.
The shows are where the ladies are bad.
Yeah. Which I kind of like, because
cool.
I liked Agatha. What's her name?
Were there female villains in any of the Marvel movies? Not in Iron Man 1, 2, or 3. Not in Captain America 1 or 2.
Thor 3.
Oh yeah, Hela. Yeah. That was also kind of a female Loki in some ways.
Yeah, well, she was more like a female Loki plus Thor.
She was female Loki turned up to 1,000,000 in power.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Bold of them to make females the villains. Yes, well, they're probably also going to they were also making some females the heroes, like that one TVA agent who doesn't like Loki because I'm not there for his no-nonsense attitude. And
yeah, very stereotypical.
I mean, that's not her reason, but that's basically
I don't trust you. And I mean, granted, I don't expect you to trust like the man who is fresh off killing 80 people in 2 days.
Yeah, and he's also a variant in her eyes.
Yeah.
That one thing I gotta ask. So at the end, when she's she opens a door and she looks back and she goes, the female Loki, and he's standing there, and you see Owen Wilson's character and the other TVA going, wait, do you think he went through that door to follow her because he's gonna join her, or to try and stop her?
I think he's trying to figure out what's going on. Either that or he has an idea of what's going on and he does probably want to stop her. I don't think I think Loki actually basically confirms what we suspected in episode 1. He had his own agenda. He wanted to take over from the Timekeepers because he wants the greatest power in all the universe. But I don't think he wanted to disrupt the timeline.
No, I don't think so either.
So I think that's something he doesn't want. I think he wants to rule, but he doesn't want to, rule the... He's not like, Littlefinger. He'd burn the kingdom down if he could rule the ashes.
Yeah.
I think Loki wants a kingdom. Like, I don't think he wants to destroy the timeline.
And I think they're having him slowly rebuild all that character development we had just by having him read different stuff that's happened in his life.
I wonder how the other Loki even knew he was a Loki, since they look so different from each other, and he wasn't even in his Loki outfit or anything.
Well, I mean, they did show that pretty much every other variant of Loki looks like Tom Hiddleston. So.
Yeah, maybe she's encountered other ones, yeah.
If I was him, I would be having such a hard time, being like, where's Loki? And then you don't see your own face.
I do wonder we're probably going to see it in an episode, but her backstory, how she learned about the Timekeepers, how she knows exactly how to work them and everything.
She's probably a variant.
What if it turns out she's a former Timekeeper?
Ooh, that would be interesting. I would like that. I'm wondering if she is a villain, though. Because part of me is thinking that the reason she's doing this is either completely just... she wants chaos,
or it might have something to do with Ravonna.
Yeah, it's one of those two, because those are like the two big pieces they've put right in front of us. Like, hey, here's the queen and here's the bishop. You got to focus on one of them, but not both of them.
Yeah,
and you got to protect your queen or your king the whole time. Or I should say, here's the queen and here's the knight. Ravonna would be the queen and female Loki would be the knight because of how sporadic it moves.
I guess you could say that. Yeah.
So this is very interesting. So, are you looking forward to episode 3, or has this kind of made you go, don't care?
Well, I'm not like, hell yeah, let's go to episode 3, but I am going to watch it when it comes out. This episode didn't honestly increase or lower my hype for the show, to be perfectly honest.
That's how I feel too. It just felt, this kind of felt like just episode 1, part 2.
Because, when it was revealed, it's female Loki, I was like, yeah, all right, cool.
I'm a little, in a percentage scale, I'm 1% more hyped, which isn't much, just because of the ending.
Actually, good point. There was a little bit of hype generated from the fact that Loki's just going to jump into this random thing. I'm kind of excited to see what he'll do.
Yeah, well, him and Owen Wilson are the two best parts of the show so far.
But I'm getting I feel like they're gonna... One thing that decreases my hype a little, I feel like we're gonna go the misunderstanding route, because they think Loki betrayed them or some shit. I'm like, I'm so sick of that kind of thing.
That is almost 100% guaranteed. The only question is, does it last more than one episode?
Yeah.
Because if it lasts more than one episode, that's when it gets annoying.
Only 6 episodes of this thing, so it's gonna have to move pretty fast.
Annoying.
It's gonna have to move pretty fast paced, so if they drag that out, that's gonna annoy me.
And like you said, it's all exposition except the ending, which is kind of the problem.
This is a very exposition heavy episode,
which you didn't need for most of it, because most of what they were talking about we already kind of figured out on our own.
One thing that I thought was kind of cool is the idea that a variant can hide in an apocalypse from the time,
and I love how Loki's the one who figured it out.
Yeah, of course, because it's what he would do. Yeah, because it's like you track people by them changing the timeline. But if you go to a place that's about to be completely wiped out, what you do there will change nothing. So, like, that's the best place to hide because you can literally do whatever you want. Like, oh, I'll kick this card over. I'll punch this guy in the face. It doesn't matter. The whole area is about to get disintegrated. Like, so.
And I love that when they go to test it, Owen Wilson's character's like, okay, I just make bird sounds or something.
Just do something. He's trying to like butterfly effect it, but Loki just runs up and yells out, "We're from the future!"
And then there's like no change to the timeline. He's like, "Well, I'll be."
Yeah. Well, I'll be a son of a gun.
What's the highest modifier you can have for one thing in D&D? Normally the highest modifier is +3, but it's really up to you.
Interesting question.
I'll answer that after the Loki stuff, but basically, if you're the DM, it's up to you. That's the answer.
Well, honestly, I don't think there's much else to say about this
not much else
episode. We covered it pretty well, I think. Like, I still want to see mythical Loki appear. Obviously, I'm not expecting that to be a main character, but if he does put together a team of Lokis, you got to have mythical Loki in there somewhere. Maybe just have some little in-jokes for people who really know Loki's mythology that only they would get. Like, I don't know. Like, if he assembles a team of Lokis, you could have a Loki who looks straight out of the myths. Like, he'd be sitting there, like, I'd make some kind of weird reference to, like, a horse in some way.
Yeah.
Just enough for myth fans to go, oh, whereas everyone else wouldn't get it.
Maybe what they'll do if they do a myth Loki, like myth accurate, I think the most likely thing that they would do is either just have him act more weird, or give Tom Hiddleston a red wig.
Like, yeah, that's true. Like, and you could have Hiddleston and Loki be like, all right, we got to get going, and then myth Loki be like, are we gonna ride horses? No. Love riding horses.
That sounds like a weird innuendo.
It is an innuendo. That was the idea. Because he did ride
Well, technically, when horses do that, the male rides the female.
Okay, you got a better way to execute it. That's the best I can think of.
I don't think Disney would do that, because honestly, I don't think they know.
I don't know. They made a foot size doesn't matter joke. In Frozen, that's what got it a PG rating. They did that on purpose.
I forgot about that. And whatever.
Who knows?
Well, anyways, so far the show is still good. I'm looking forward to next episode, but I'm not like, man, I can't wait. It's just...
I think I was more excited between episodes for Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, honestly. Well, that's because there was like more going on.
So much going on in that.
Yeah, you were like, what is going to happen? What's with the world government? Is Sam going to become a super soldier? Is Bucky going to revert to being the Winter Soldier? Oh my God, Baron
Zemo, yeah.
Which reminds me, I have a video to show you about this. It's pretty funny.
What I notice about these shows is they're done in a way that you don't need to watch them to keep seeing the movies, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because they already established at the end of Endgame that Falcon is becoming the new Cap. So even if you didn't watch Falcon, if you see him as Cap in the next one, you'll probably think, oh yeah, because Cap.
Yeah, he's Captain America.
If you see Zemo in a prison in Wakanda, you could easily go, well, yeah, of course he'd be in a prison in Wakanda. Yeah. He killed their king. You don't technically need to see the show. Like, you might see Scarlet Witch in her new outfit and be like, oh, cool, she has a new outfit. You wouldn't think, oh, there was a whole show built around that.
There was something. My brain is forgetting.
I honestly don't fully expect Loki to even show up in the movies anymore.
Yeah, I don't think he will. I think he's just gonna have his own show now, which is fine. He doesn't really need to be in the movies because they clearly are gonna mix it with Guardians of the Galaxy, and having one less person in it might actually make it easier to watch.
Yeah.
Because even in Endgame and in Infinity War, you can only have so many people on the screen at any given time if it's not a fight scene.
I do want at least one of the, maybe phase 5 or 6, to end with the battle against the Cancerverse. I'm sure they'll change its name.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll call it the Cancerverse.
They'll probably call it like the Dark
They'll probably make a reference to it by saying that universe is a cancer on a soul, which is literally how it got its name in the comics, because like one of the guys calls it a cancer and then they call it the Cancerverse. But I think that is, at the end of the day, that is the best way, because in order to wipe out the Cancerverse, like, they needed everyone, all of Earth's heroes, all of the galaxy's heroes, and even the Celestials and like Galactus had to come help fight against the Cancerverse. So I think that should be the end-all be-all Marvel MCU threat if they're ever planning on it.
I really hope so, but if they are going to do it, they're going to try and delay it as long as they can because they just want to keep making that money.
I'm sure. I would love to see it because I think that seeing the Revengers, which are the evil Avengers, would be amazing. Like you get back RDJ just for that movie.
Just
like RDJ,
evil.
will you just come back just to play evil Iron Man for one film?
He'd probably
go, oh, that's interesting. Okay.
And then they'd also
and then
have
they
a
offer him
truckload of
$50
money.
million more dollars.
So let's see. I was more excited in WandaVision, but that's because I liked Wanda so much, and I was hoping for House of M. Yeah,
we didn't get House of M. A lot of people wanted House of M.
I know a lot of people did. I did a little bit, but I knew we weren't going to get it.
Same. I knew it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, you need X-Men for House of M for one thing.
That is a guy behind y'all. Oh, there is. Yeah, that's Loki.
Yeah.
And the time variance authority.
Oh, when I said Cancerverse, he said, you mean the live-action Disney movies?
You're not completely wrong. I liked Aladdin.
Okay.
But that's it. The other one's not so much. By the way, speaking of the live-action Disney movies, this is just something I heard. I don't know how true it is. But someone has said something about them changing the song to Little Mermaid to hip-hop.
Look, it's gonna suck either way. Who cares?
Yeah, okay, that's a good
Every
point.
time there's controversy about the upcoming Little Mermaid, I'm like, it's not gonna be good. Why does anyone care? Do you expect it to be good? Like, people are like, oh, did you hear about the casting? I don't care. Did you hear about this? I don't care. I'm not gonna watch it. I don't care.
I'm gonna watch it because I like torturing
I'm not gonna
myself.
pay to watch it, but I'm probably gonna like have to review it on the channel or something because it's technically myth related.
Oh, it is true? Ugh. Yeah. Well,
you know, that's fine. Make the movie. Give me more ammo in my review to make fun of. Please make the movie as bad as possible.
well, not as bad as possible. I don't want to fateful findings.
What if it turns out the music is actually wonderful in the new?
Oh yeah, that would be. It actually translates.
You know, I mean, I'll give them 1 point that they're actually doing something different with it, and that's a reason for a remake.
Yeah, actually, that is a good reason.
Because remember how bad Lion King was? Did you even see that? You didn't see? It was horrible.
Some people like that.
People are weird.
No, that's a beautiful thing about movies. You can love it, they can hate it, we can hate it, they can love it.
But here, I still don't expect it to be good because, in my opinion, none of these have been good. I know you liked Aladdin, but I still.
I'd rather shove a
I think Aladdin is the least bad out of all of them. I haven't seen Cruella yet.
I heard that's good.
But that's technically not a remake.
Yeah, it's a prequel, and I hear it's good.
Yeah, I've heard some decent things.
I kind of want to see it, but
I do want to see it too. I don't want to pay $30.
And I don't really want to see it in theaters that bad.
Maybe we'll just wait till it's no extra charge on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's what
we'll
I'm thinking I'm going to do. Also, I just don't have the time right now.
All right. Well, we've gone way off topic. I think we've said what we wanted to say about this episode.
Loki is a lot of fun so far. They're doing good with all their shows.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Not so good with their premium access movies.
I didn't find this episode as funny as the previous episode.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, that's because that's the first episode they're trying to pull you in, so they're going to give you more jokes and stuff.
Yeah, this one was a lot more serious.
This one had a few laughs, but yeah, there were some jokes that didn't really land for me, like the whole jet ski thing didn't really land for me. I'm sure that was supposed to be funny.
I think it's supposed to be more like a chuckle funny. That's how I felt.
Yeah,
and I think it's supposed to be.
I'm sure it's going to end with Owen on a jet ski.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point of it, is to be more of a
maybe that'll be like if they really want to go buddy cop movie full cliche, it'll end with Loki getting Owen a jet ski.
Yeah. So well, Marinus just said something about Cruella. We'll talk about it after we do the review, but that's a review of episode 2 of Loki.
Yeah.
And the Time Variance Authority, that's just what I'm going to call it, because that's what the show is. Time Cop Loki. They should just change the name to Time Cop.
Buddy Time Cop Loki.
Yeah, Buddy Time Cop Loki.
All right, well, that's what we think of this episode. We're going to take a little break, and then we're going to get into
take a little break. I'm still looking forward to next week. Andrew's still looking forward to next week. Claire couldn't be here. She had a meeting. But I can tell she's kind of looking forward to next week.
Thanks for the review. Thank you very much for being here. We know we had some technical difficulties.
Yeah, thanks for everybody who stayed. We literally had so much technical
We're not doing Age of Mythology today. We'll probably do an Age of Mythology episode or two when we finish Doom 2016. Okay?
Yeah, but for now, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.